So that puts us, now ahead of schedule than behind schedule. That's great. Thanks, man. So then I'm just going to kind of flow really quickly into the next presenter. Their names are Zaak and Jim, right? Come on up, guys. These guys are from Dragonfly Cohousing.
Good afternoon. I'm Zaak. This is Jim. We're both part of a project that's been in existence for about 4.5 years. Is it 4.5? Yeah. And it started from one family. We got a few people together, and they said, "Hey, let's get a bunch of people together, buy a piece of land, and build a housing complex on there where we can live in community." And so far, after 4.5 years, we've managed to buy an acre of land in Crescent Heights, get a architectural design and a development permit from the city, and get 30 different households together to buy this. And so the complex holds 36 units, so there's still room. There are some 3- and 4-bedroom units. And so the whole idea, I'll just give you the 30-second thing, is we have everyone has their own personal unit, so it's not really a commune. Everyone has their own personal unit that they can sell or use in the way they want to use, and everyone has their own kitchen and bathroom and bedrooms and all of that. But then we also have a central area built into the complex called the Common House. And so we have right now almost 7,000 square feet of indoor common space. So we have a great room with a big kitchen, we have multi-purpose rooms, we have a little cafe, kids playroom, laundry area, a couple of guest rooms. And then we also have a fifth of an acre of community gardens. And so many of the people that are moving there are coming from the suburbs. They're saying, we don't like living in the suburbs because we don't know our neighbors, we're not really using land effectively, we're having to commute and all this awful stuff. So anyway, that's co-housing in a nutshell. It started in Denmark in the 60s. So we'll just go to the next slide. Oh, hey. We will go to the next slide.
A little bit of a delay.
Oh, there it is. All right. So community, there's been a few articles recently, New York Times and such. Community is the focus. So if you want to think of an ideology that co-housing embraces, it's community. And so that's what we believe in. And we've seen that happiness, there's actually a great documentary called Happy. Co-housing is mentioned in there. Happiness happens best when it's in community. And longevity. They're looking at studies of centenarians on these islands in Greece and Italy, and they're saying, hey, these people live a long time. They smoke like crazy, they don't exercise, but they have people around them that love them. So that's what we're shooting for. One of the features is multi-generational. So actually we have to leave this event early because we're going to a birthday party in High River for our oldest member who's turning 80 today. And so and our youngest member is 1. So we celebrate all ages. And actually one of the things that we're missing is that 20-something age group, because they don't have the $300,000, $400,000 to buy a unit in downtown Calgary. So we're actually buying, some members are putting some money together and they're buying a rental property that they can rent out a room or two to either a family or university-age students. And then there's a balance, right? So we have the private area, but we have the social event. So rather than having to get in your car and drive to meet your friends, you can walk out the front door and share a beer or watch a game or play a game, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to pass it over to Jim. He's going to talk about one of the parts that he's really passionate about. And you'll do my this one?
Oh, sure. I'll do it for you.
All right, thank you. Thanks, everybody. I came into this event, or this project, just not even quite a year ago. Some friends of mine were involved. But the thing that triggered it for me was, as Zaak mentioned, co-housing started in Denmark in the 1960s with an architect there looking at the disintegrating community when everybody's living in their own little piece. And also looking at the environmental issues, which was big for me. I'm on the board of the Alberta Wilderness Association. Quick plug, April 20th, the Alberta Climb for Wilderness at the Tower. Come on over. I'm just looking at the craziness of the way we're living in Alberta. Brad Stilfax, some of you may know, has this great presentation. He says the footprint of acreages in Alberta actually exceeds the footprint of towns and cities. We're spending putting more of our land into these 10, 25 acre plots all around Alberta, which are dysfunctional as far as a community. I lived out in Bride Creek a number of years ago, and people think it's great. They've got their 5, they've got their 10 acres. Pretty quickly they learn everything they do, they have to drive somewhere. They have to drive their kids to get to school. They have to drive to go get a jug of milk. They have to drive everywhere. So the actual turnover of those acreages is about every 4 years. People move out, think it's wonderful, and then they say it's just not functional. So co-housing for me on the environmental side just makes sense. You bring everybody together, you have smaller units, and what the history of co-housing has been, since there's thousands in Europe, hundreds in the US, you're just getting going in Canada, oddly enough, we're a little bit behind schedule, is to reduce the size of your own space, but share some space, like Zaak says. We have the common house, 7,000 square feet of a great room, which will be a shared workshop. Everybody needs a power drill, but not everybody needs a power drill every day. So why don't we just have a power drill? That's my simplest example that we'll all have access to. Even a laundry. We'll have laundry in our units, but there'll be a common laundry, which will also have a cafe next door. So you can sit with your laundry, have a coffee with your friends. And then the community kitchen, which is mostly will be used for community meetings, even meetings like this. And we see this as a real catalyst for other opportunities for other groups to use the facility. It's going to be exciting. The location we should mention is in Bridgeland, between just
in Crescent Heights.
Oh, well, I call it Bridgeland, you call it Crescent Heights. So it's for anybody who wants to go look at the site. Has anybody actually seen the site?
No.
Oh, great! That's terrific. It's between Edmonton Trail and Center Street. If you're going along First Avenue, it's at First Avenue and 3rd Street. We actually have a big sign there, so you can't miss it. Interesting piece of land. It's sitting there about an acre, right in the middle of downtown, but it's on a very steep slope. So it's been a bit of a challenge for the architects, but at the same time, it's going to be a really interesting project when it's done. So.
Can I just get you to...
Oh, yeah, up a bit. Okay, thank you. Nice to have an IT person right there. So, like I said, on the environmental side, we're going to bring a group of people together. We're going to create this intentional community of people who are like-minded but diverse, and we really want to stress that. And that's what I think I wanted to come back to what Zaak said is, we looked at it and said, yeah, okay, diversity. We all talk about diversity, but what does it really mean? Yeah, everybody that can afford a fairly significant down payment and then ongoing mortgage payments. But that's going to leave out a lot of people who are in that not quite ready to buy their first place yet. So the idea of having a couple of rental units, I look around the crowd here, lots of people that we could have move in, be part of that community, and fill that gap in our desire to be from 1 to 80. Yes?
I wonder about having, say, a building for like a cooperative within their cooperatively owned. So say, one person might own 60% of the unit and then 2 other people own 20% each. I'm just wondering if that sort of thing has been...
Sure, I mean, there'd be nothing wrong with doing that if you as a group, because we got family units and you define what your family is, who are going to be in there. So if you had 2 or 3 people want to come together, share, because we right now, and it's sort of a good news, bad news story. The bad news is we don't have a lot of units left. The good news is we don't have a lot of units left. So we have 30 sold to families, individuals. And there's a kind of a neat distribution of ages and backgrounds. But there's 6 units left. 2 are committed. We'll buy as rental units. Now, if we get 6 more people come in, we'll let go of the rental units. But we're really thinking that we want to have the rental units in there. So you could have 3. What's left is 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom units. So somebody could say 3 people could come in and say, we want to have a 4-bedroom unit. Each have their bedroom and then a spare bedroom for whatever. Den, whatever, living space. So.
I was on your website, but I didn't see the prices. Is it somewhere hidden in there? Or
Yeah. You'll have to contact us.
We are a cult. So roughly a 4-bedroom unit would be...
4-bedroom is about
5,000. And 3-bedroom, 4 foursomes. So 4 to 500,000. Sounds expensive. But compared to, actually, if you were just to buy a condo in downtown Calgary, it would be less expensive. But it's all the features that you have in there with the common the common house and all that sort of thing. The interesting thing about co-housing as it's evolved is that the units have gotten smaller, the individual units have gotten smaller, while the common house has gotten bigger. So probably some of you are familiar with Prairie Sky, which is actually the first co-housing project in Calgary on Edmonton Trail and 31st Avenue. That we, of course, they've been our good parents in terms of helping us get started with this project. But they've seen their, as they've come 10 years ago, so their common house is going to be smaller than, or is smaller than ours will be, for that reason, because people find, really, you need a place to sleep and shower, and that's about it. And then you go out and you're out in the community, or you're down at the common house.
I'm going to steal the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 4.5 minutes now. So one of the things I wanted to speak to, and I mean, I'm looking around the room and I'm hearing what you know, I looked at the schedule. There's a lot of initiative in this room, and one of the things I wanted to point out is a $14 million project. That's kind of normal for a developer. It's not really normal for families and, you know, retired couples and you know, single women. That's not really normal. So this project actually, you know, we mentioned 4.5 years. We hope to be done at about the 5.5 year mark. Move-in is next year, hopefully. Yeah, we should. With lots of meetings, and we operate by consensus decision making, which is an incredible way to form community, because it forces us to listen to each other. Yes, yes, we use this in our meetings, and we have a card system, and so just building that community ahead of time. And we have disagreements, and we have tiffs. There is lots of conflict, but because we're a community, we can actually resolve those conflicts, and we look forward to living with, you know, as neighbors, and sharing a lot of common meals, and having our kids play together. One of the things too is, you know, it requires a lot of risk, and so, you know, when I put my $1,000 before we'd hired any professionals, before we had a piece of land, I put my $1,000 in. I'm like, well, it's just $1,000. I'll kiss that goodbye. But you know, the more people that believed in this, things can happen. And so it's a beautiful project. It's something that I've you know, I put all of my time into, any extra time I put into, and so you know, we only have really 4 more units left, and so, you know, I'm just putting it out there. Let's get another one going. Actually, my family is living with another family. We're in a big 5-bedroom house together, kind of in the interim. And he's quit his job downtown, and he's now working as a co-housing developer. So just kind of coming alongside co-housing communities. And there's one in Medicine Hat, and one in Regina, and there's one in Edmonton. They're just forming now. So I want to put it out there. So let's go back one. Oh, I think I missed my last slide. Just questions. We have info sessions about 3 times a month. You can go onto our website, dragonflycohousing.ca. I left some business cards and brochures out there, and we'd be happy to meet with anyone who has questions. So I think we have a minute or 2 left for questions, if there are any. So.
What's the location?
It's 1st Avenue, 3rd Street, Northeast. So just west of Edmonton Trail, just north of Memorial Drive. Just behind the St. Vladimir's Orthodox Church.
How do you feel living in a co-housing sort of setup has benefited your life personally?
Well, we haven't moved in yet. Personally, I've found having to associate with people and cooperate on such a level. You know, at work I have to cooperate. In co-housing, it's like a 10 times deeper level. We have to really listen to each other and work together. That's made me far more collaborative as a person, and it forces everyone to be more vulnerable. So we've, you know, Jim I've known for about less than a year, but, you know, we can sit down and really, you know, pour our hearts out to each other, and that's just, you know, just because we've been to business meetings together and team meetings and that sort of thing. Yep.
I was just going to add, I visited the Yarrow Co-housing project, and you've got families of 5 people living in small 700 to 900 square foot, you know, apartments, condos, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
The kids are all outside playing together. People can join in evening potlucks together, whether they want to or not. It happens pretty well every evening that a large proportion of people are eating together. Mothers are finding they're cooking once every 3 weeks. So for those of us who have raised kids and work and everything else, and you go home at the end of the day, and my God, what do I make tonight? It's a blessing. It's wonderful.
No, it is. We're a family of 4. We're moving into a 2-bedroom unit. We're converting we have a little boy and a little girl, so we're converting the storage room. So this little 6x12, that's going to be my son's bedroom, and he's super stoked because he gets to have a little loft bed and all this space. So yeah, it really does force people out. So out of their personal units and into community. Yeah. Last question.
Yeah, sorry, this is just for clarification. You probably answered this, but you're saying you're building all of these from scratch, right?
Yes.
Did you guys ever think before of buying like a street next to a park or something like that, and then
Yes.
instead of building
And developing or buying the houses out.
yeah, not developing, but just like say
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Some co-housing projects have done that, where they've converted existing buildings, or they've just used existing buildings. What we found, though, is most communities are not designed to facilitate community. And so the houses in a row, you drive in, you pull in, you get out of your car, you go into your house. And that doesn't facilitate community in any way. And there's picket fences around your backyards and all this stuff. So everyone's facing into a courtyard. You walk out of your car, you're forced to kind of walk by everyone's houses and through the common house. And so it forces community. And so our architects, NOR architects, I can plug them, they're fantastic. They've really done a great job of facilitating community. So thank you so much for listening, and we wish we could stay longer. We're off to a birthday party.